By the end of this year, we're going to fix black people time. We're going to be on time because time is so precious to everybody.
Don't go out looking for people who are just like you. You're going to fail.
When I get my Oscar invitation, I'm going to wear like a robot suit. I'm going to stand out, show out.
If everyone in your team has the same personality, thinks the exact same way, you don't have a support team. You have fans.
All right, guys, we are back here at the SocialPath. Again, SocialPath is for those who want a different path to follow, so we provide that. I am your host, Harry Obamajay. Here is Evita Lawrence, co-host, here to rock it. Hey, Evita, how you doing?
I am doing great, Mr.
Okay.
Obamajay. How are you?
I can't complain, can't complain at all. Like to really check in before we start because honestly, mental health is very important, for not just for the viewers, but from ourselves. We all go through a lot in life, and when we talk about the social path, we want to make sure that we always have people tune in and to improve their lives. So again, the whole purpose of this is if we can improve the life of one person, we've done our job.
Yes.
So real quick check-in for us, Evita, mental, physical, financial, where you at from a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, so is 10 the good number or the bad number?
10 is the good number.
Okay, so 1 to 10. So mentally, I am probably at like a 9.
Okay.
Physically, 6. I need more exercise. I skipped some days last week.
Okay.
Financially, I'm, how do I say? I'm going to say a 7.
Oh.
There's some goals that I still want to hit. And I'm just going to add one more. Spiritually, I'm hitting a 8.5.
There you go. Nah, that's fine. We want you to be at least 7 to 8 above,
Yes.
I mean, for me, mental, I've been doing a lot of self-improvement stuff, reading a lot of books, The Go-Giver is a good book, guys. If you guys want to read some books, good book. But yeah, from a standpoint, I'll say I'm at an 8.5 mental.
Okay.
Physical, I actually went to the gym today, so I'm at like a 9.
Thank you.
And financial, I'm always doing better. So financial is 9 and above.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. I like the confidence.
Nah, you know what it is? It's like, and we can touch on it a little bit, but like we talk about investments on this platform, and we always find ways to invest. I have a good team behind me, TMR Capital. So yeah, we find opportunities and we try to invest for people, right? We do our best to help others invest. So
I agree. That is good.
Yeah.
So since our check-in is done, I heard a little birdie told me that you were on vacation and you went to the best island.
What?
In the Caribbean.
Yeah, I went to Jamaica.
Irie. By the way, no Jamaican says Irie. No. We say Wagwan. Big up. But
Big up.
Irie, no, you only hear that in the movies. But
I went to how you say it? Mobe? Mobe?
Yes.
Went to Mobe for the very first time. Honestly, look, I'm shocked, and here's why.
Okay.
So when I went back to Nigeria, for those of you who have ever been to Nigeria, you guys can relate. Trust me, I know you can. That airport is something else in Nigeria.
Okay.
Basically, it felt like a prison that we had to escape once we landed. So going to Jamaica,
wait, what do you mean by it felt like a prison?
You gotta be there to understand what I'm saying.
What's the name of this airport?
Shit, I wish I knew. Trying to forget. No. I to be honest, I really don't know, but man, I just remember that experience was so like, whew, we made it out. So when I was going to Jamaica, I'm like, is it gonna be the same thing? The first thing I saw was a whole bunch of diversity
in Jamaica. Okay,
right. So
yes,
you had your Asians, your whites, blacks, Spanish. It was well diverse, and like the moment we got in, it's like lines were very quick. They didn't even stamp my passport.
They didn't?
No, kind of pissed about that because now nobody believes me that I actually went to Jamaica. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. We got a chance to really eat the food, explore. Did some what's that thing called? The rafting?
Oh, the river rafting.
River rafting. That was pretty cool because like you're on like this bamboo boat and then they're massaging your leg with some limestone, which I bought a whole bunch. right? To find out that it's free out there, like
it's limestone. It's a stone. He bought stone.
Yeah, I bought stone. Yeah. It was expensive too, though. But it's all good.
I'm sure it was probably $20.
Yeah. But honestly, I do believe in the principles, though. Like what you get from it, right? They said like it makes your skin soft, brightens your skin. You looking young, So.
Sure, it exfoliates.
Exfoliates, yeah.
Yes.
But other than that, the weather was perfect. People are very nice. Twerking is actually a thing out there.
In Jamaica?
In Jamaica, yeah.
Okay.
What else? What else did we do?
How was the food?
Food was fantastic. A lot of jerk chicken.
I'm sure.
But I'll say one thing though. It's almost blasphemous. The Jamaican patties.
I'm sorry, excuse me? What do you mean by Which Jamaican patty did you have?
Well, we went to a couple local spots. My hype was so high though. Like my expectations was like
okay, you probably didn't have. So there's several brands of patty in Jamaica.
Okay.
So you have Tasties, Mothers, Juicy Beef.
Okay.
So it depends on which one you had. Now, if you didn't have Tasties, then okay, maybe that's why you're saying
meat pies. African meat pies are better than Jamaican patties.
You want to get beat? That's fighting words.
Nah, no disrespect. I actually had it. Look, beef patties are really good. Like I said, I had high expectations. You know what I'm saying?
What patty did you had the beef?
I had the chicken and the beef.
Chicken and beef? Okay.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you had some, off brand, but Tasty's patties are very good.
Nah, facts.
Even
yeah.
Mother's is still good. Juicy Beef, there's another one, but I can't remember the name of the brand right now. But
it was a good time. It was a good time. Then I went snorkeling. Can't swim, but still went snorkeling. That was pretty cool and scary.
There's one of these days we have to talk about that because I think that's a problem. Too many of us black people, including myself, I can tread water a little bit, but we're not good swimmers. And I grew up on an island, so that's something we do have to address.
That is a fact, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because growing up, I grew up in the city. So
me too.
Ain't no pools out there in the city like that.
True,
there are pools, but not access to us, right?
Yeah.
So like I didn't get that experience of learn how to swim, and not until I moved to Jersey, where I was like, I gotta learn how to swim, and I tried. So now I can swim on my back, But funny, real quick story. I remember I went to Mexico once in Cabo, and I was like, went to the beach. I'm walking on the sand, going to the water, thinking I can swim. So I'm going to the beach, and next thing I know, the sand goes under my legs. And I'm just like, whoa, it went from 3 feet to like 8 feet.
8 feet. And you're like,
And I'm like, panic mode, boom, 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 right? But I remember, hey, you can swim on your back. So
you just went.
It just went in.
Wow.
And then once I was swimming, I got back to land. I turned around, not a soul in sight.
Oh.
Can you imagine that if I didn't learn how to swim when I moved to Jersey?
That's why it's so important. And that's why we have to talk about that.
Exactly. So maybe the next episode we'll talk about the importance of learning how to swim if you're dark skinned like us. But yeah,
Sure.
So one thing I want to touch upon was I was watching one of these podcasts and they talked about potential, right? Where it's like people nowadays, it's like you have a potential, but you're wasting it, and the biggest fear for a lot of people is wasting your potential. So what's your thoughts about reaching your potential? Is it important,
It's very important. Reaching your potential, and even when we say reaching or potential, it's important to say, it's important to distinguish that, because it's not like you get to a point and you reach and then you stop and you stop growing.
Right.
Because when I think about potential, the word that I associate best with it is growth, right? So if you're not, we're either growing or we're dying. We're either going in one direction. It's up or down, right? So when it comes to potential, it's important, because if not, what are we doing? Where are we going? What's happening? We're doing nothing, right? And so I think it's very important for us to talk about potential and growth and just doing stuff instead of just, going with the wind. But how do I explain that? I'm not doing it.
What's your, for example, with potential, right? It starts with your goals, right? So what's a goal? What's a goal of yours?
Okay, so I'll say this, and I like to put it out there so I can be held accountable. I want to retire at 45.
Bam.
Right? 45. That is a thing. And if, most of my friends know that they've heard me said this, that is a goal. And when I say retire, some older people are like, oh, you too. What are you doing? What are you going to do? Right. But when I say retire means I don't want to have to be working for an income to support myself by 45. So that is a goal that I have, and it's something that I'm working towards. Now, if I can get to there before 45, amen. But that's my goal. That's something I'm working towards because I want to go into full-time, just like service, serving others, and serving my community. And, I believe that whatever the Lord has given you a gift, right, you should use that. And if I can get to that by 45, so I can then put most of my time into helping others, that's what I want to do. That's
fantastic because growing up they teach us retirements at 60, 65, 70 now. By the time we're the next generation it'll be 99.
Yeah, 100. Like
yeah, but so for me it's like, what is potential, right? It's to me it's a never ending moving goal.
Okay.
Right? So like for example, you watch sports? Because I know our producer doesn't watch sports.
Football, but the FIFA football.
Okay. What about basketball? You watch basketball?
Sometimes.
Okay. Well, you heard Michael Jordan?
Yes, of course.
Right, so Michael Jordan, I hope you know Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he made the sneakers.
Yeah, he made the sneakers. So Michael Jordan to me, right, is the greatest of all time. A lot of people think he's the greatest of all time too, right? But do you think Michael Jordan reached his potential, in your opinion?
In basketball?
In basketball and life, whatever.
Possibly.
Okay, let's just say in basketball.
Well, in basketball, yeah.
You think he reached it? See, in my opinion, I don't think he reached it.
Okay.
Right? Because, like I said, your potential is a never-ending moving goal.
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
So, check this out. Michael Jordan never scored the most points in the NBA. It's not owned by who? LeBron James.
Oh,
I know. Yeah. If you didn't know, now you know. He wasn't the tallest. He's only 6'6". Wasn't the tallest in the NBA.
Okay.
Wasn't the fastest. Didn't have the most steals. Didn't have the most, So what I'm saying is, but yet he's considered the greatest of all time. Why is that? Well, Mike Jordan wanted to be the greatest of all time in his mind. He trained every single day. He made the shots. He won 6 championships. Doesn't have the most though, as an individual player, but yet he's known as the greatest of all time. So in my opinion, your potential should never be reached.
Okay. So let me interject, right? Because even just thinking about what you're saying, but for his, and I don't know this because I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but for his time, like his period of time where he was in the NBA, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
In the NBA, right? Was he the best for that period of time?
So in his era, right? Yeah, yes, he's considered like the best player. But again, with all his accomplishments, right? When you list them up, somebody will say, yeah, maybe he reached his potential. But I'm like, well, he doesn't have the most championships.
Sure.
Bill Russell has the most championships as an individual player.
You're right. But to also interject, I think, and that's why I asked you, you were like, has he reached his potential? And I agree with you. I don't think he's reached it because maybe, if we split it up and segment it, like he's reached his potential in basketball because he's not playing anymore. Right. Look at his legacy. Like, look at what he's been doing after.
Yeah, he's done a lot for the game.
The game, but also just like, we still hear his name. Like, even just coming out with a brand of shoes like Jordans. Right. That's Michael Jordan, right?
Yep, okay, that is Michael Jordan.
Right? So it's just, I think even when we're saying it, we go through these different stages in life, right? But then when we are not like physically on the stage, like, oh, let me think of something, like even for myself, when I'm not like physically out there working anymore, like what impact, what legacy have I left behind? Right. If I haven't left anything to help others grow or to impact others, then, I think that's what's also affecting my potential, because can you imagine if he didn't do anything else after? Would we have even remembered his 5?
No.
Right. So, that's a very interesting point. I've never thought about it like that. Like, our legacy effects or ability, I guess, to reach our potential or to grow or for people to even remember us.
Right.
So I think about that because I'm thinking about me, retiring at 45 and I'm like, wait, I can retire, but still, like, what am I going to be doing after that to still have an impact?
Right.
That's very
because check this out. There's a lot of people who they get depressed because they have such a big goal, right? But the thing is, it's like, yeah, you can see the forest, but see what the trees in front of you. Focus on that. Yeah. So instead of you being depressed, first of all, acknowledge that just being on this planet alone, you achieve so much, right? Just the reproduction process, right? You won your race.
Yes.
You won. Right? So everything you do now is just extra. You see what I'm saying? That's true. But then for the people who have all these high goals, right? Age 45 to retire or billionaire by 45, Wait,
hold on. So I want to hold you accountable. So keep going. Let's
that is a true goal. That is a true goal. Everybody needs your help. But again, it's like going back to it. It's like once you have a goal and you have commitment, don't beat yourself up trying to achieve it. Right? Don't beat yourself up if you don't achieve it. Okay. Because just by pursuing a worthwhile goal, you're accomplishing everything that you actually want to accomplish. Okay. So, for example, going back to Michael Jordan, he wanted to be the best. Jordan for what? 6 rings and shoes. At the time, he just wanted to amass as many championships as possible. Probably wanted to surpass Bill Russell. Okay. But because he was pursuing that goal, he was able to accomplish all these things along that path, similar to SocialPath, right?
Yes, the social.
So he was pursuing a worthwhile goal, and he accomplished a lot. I mean, just because he accomplished that much, outside looking in, they said, "Wow, he's the greatest." He's the best at what he does. So for the people who are chasing after something, in my opinion, it's like, calm down. You're pursuing something. Every day you wake up, you're pursuing something that's worthwhile to you. Don't beat yourself up if you don't achieve it.
That's true, because the journey is just as important as getting to the end. Right?
Facts.
Because it's not just getting there. It's all the things that you experience and grow while you're on your way there. Those are all things that you can, you put on your walls, however you remember it, and you grow from it. Because, I'm not the same person I was before I went to got my bachelor's degree. Right. So it's important. And I think it's very important, especially for our society, that sometimes we're just so focused on just reaching. Right. That we forget the journey, the process, the growth. Right. And just how it's so important. Because, I even say that for those out there who are, going, whatever you might be going through, it's also important to be content, because again, like you said earlier in the beginning, mental health is very important. Yeah. And our generation, there's just so much going on. There's so much you can be bombarded with, and sometimes you might think that you're nothing is happening because you're not taking time to appreciate the things that you've already achieved, and just how you're working towards your goal. So that's really important.
I like that, because when you pursue something that's so big to you, people don't take the time to reflect. Yeah. Right? Like, take a step back. What did you just go through? For example, when I went to engineering school, it's funny, me and my buddy were talking about this the other day. Like, engineering was very difficult.
Okay, first of all, let me just interject, right? I don't know what people say when they say they go to engineering school. So you have to break that down for me a little later. All right,
check this out. I'm going to break it down. So when I went to engineering school, I had hair. And by the time I left, I had no hair. So hopefully that gives you a little bit, better perspective on what engineering school's about. Okay. No, I mean, engineering school is just broken down into different, it's heavy on math, right? And then you have different core classes that you have to take. But the reason why I bring that up is because I know I didn't decide to go to engineering school. That was a parent decision. Yeah. Hey, I'm paying for your school. You're going to be an engineer. So the pressure was on, right? So, your parents are going to see the potential in you. That's why they take you to these schools or whatever. So when I went in, I did well, right? As well as I could do. But I did well. And then I got a job. I've been working, et cetera, right? Working the job, following the path that we've been taught all our lives, right? Go to school, go to work, all that. But then when I took a step back and say, damn, okay, what did I go through? I went through all those classes. I went through all those study periods. I met all these people that today I'm close friends with, because we all helped each other out during the struggle, the studies, right? Yeah. Going through that whole process of trying to get a job, the interviews. And for those of you who are going through interviews now, don't worry, you will get a job. There's going to be multiple jobs, despite what they're saying about this recession thing. Because one thing I've noticed too is, as they've been talking about recession, a lot of jobs have been produced. So so going through the whole jobs, going through all these conferences, it's like, your journey, right, is your trophy. Your journey is what you should be most proud of. Because once you hit the goal, it's like, then what?
Then you have to go to another goal.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of somebody who's like, they hit all their financial goals, all their goals that they hit, and then they become depressed? Why? Because in my opinion, their goal wasn't as big as they thought it was.
Got it.
Right? If you have a big goal, it should never be attained. It should be so unreachable. But just pursuing that big goal and accomplishing different things along the way, that's what is more impactful.
It's important. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I agree with that. And that is why I think it's so important for us to, have those big goals, have those big dreams. And also, have people who can hold you accountable. That's the word.
The right people.
The right people.
Right? I mean, is that not important to have? Is your association important?
Of course. Oh, please. There's a saying. I don't know where the saying came from. Google it. But it says, show me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. Right. Something like that.
Along those lines, yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines. And it's because, if you... And I think we also have to be important. There's a lot of stuff going on in my head, but it's because we can be on. I love to talk about spectrums, right? So we can be on either side of the spectrum, where you have your friends who are, they're good, but they're only good for you to keep you where you are, right? They're not the friends that are going to be able to elevate you, because they're just not thinking like that, right? So you have to. I think it's first very important for you to start off knowing what you want,
right?
And spending time figuring that out, because I don't know who said it, but somebody did say that if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Ooh, fire.
And it's true, because if you don't know where you're going, wherever you end up, like, that's it. But is that what you wanted?
No, that's interesting, right? Because, when I look at my association of friends, and I'm going to ask you this question because I know what your goal is now. Who in your inner circle has retired by 45?
No one.
No one.
But I have some mentors, and I'm still looking for some more.
Okay.
That I haven't met anyone that retired by 45, but that's why YouTube is so great.
Oh, YouTube University, shout out.
Yes, shout out to YouTube University. There's some people on YouTube that they've retired by 30 and all of that good stuff. But my goal is 45. Okay. So. So that's actually a really good point. I do have to, get some more people in my circle and work on some more mentors.
Now, because like I said, my goal is to be a billionaire, right? But I don't know any billionaires. Not that I know of right now. Don't know any of them.
Guys,
that I know.
Harry's looking for a billionaire friend.
Swipe right if you want to have an app for non-billionaire lookers.
Yes, if you're a billionaire, subscribe now, and then,
facts.
Let us know how you became a billionaire.
But I'll say this, though. Like, I have some people in my team that they achieved the multi-million-dollar levels, right? Okay. So it's like, learn from them, take what you got, and then grow from that. You can't do it by yourself.
That's true.
For those of you who want to do it by yourself, good luck. We appreciate you. But honestly, when you have a team, you go further in life, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know people like to say in my opinion, but I believe in absolute truth. So I'm just going to say it. Okay. I believe in absolute truth. That the truth is you can't do anything by yourself. It's a proven fact. It is scientifically proven, historically proven that nobody gets to the top by themselves. No, we were talking about basketball earlier. LeBron James, the other guy, Michael Jordan, LeBron.
They had 4 teammates, right?
Exactly.
That don't get talked about.
Exactly.
But they needed, like Scottie Pippen, for those of you who follow the Bulls, he was the top 50 players of all time. But yet they give all their shine to Jordan. Scottie Pippen was 6'9", ahead of his time. He plays all positions. He did all the dirty work, right? So sometimes when you look at your team, ask yourself, who's doing all the dirty work that's going to help you go to that next level? Who's that person?
True. And sometimes in a team, you might be that person.
True. No, and
it's okay, as long as you're, also reaching your goal. So it's really important for people to recognize. And anyone who says, I can do it by myself, just stop telling yourself the lie. What you do need to do is find those, a lot of times we have people in our circle who are not, they shouldn't be in our circle. And it's okay to move away from those relationships and those people, and then find the people who need to be in your circle, because that's how you'll be able to grow. From my experience, I can say, I think I was doing great by myself, but getting married was probably the best, one of the best decisions I've made.
There you go.
Because my husband is just
shout out to marriage.
Shout out to marriage and marriage done the right way. But my husband he is, you know, there are things that I don't even think of that he thinks of, right? And that's why it's so important for you to have someone who, and let's just be clear, we are complete opposites.
Wow. Okay.
Like, we are polar opposites.
Well, opposites attract, right? So that's
yes. But the important thing is we have the same goal, right? And so, and it's the same thing like in our, you know, when you have friends or a team, and I'll say this for those people who have businesses or whatever it is, don't go out looking for people who are just like you. You're going to fail. You are going to fail. If everyone in your team has the same personality or thinks the exact same way, you don't have a support team. You have fans.
Wow.
You have fans and you're not going to grow. So
no, that's so facts.
It's really important for you to surround yourself with, you know, I don't think we need to get into the whole psychology of it, but surround people who are different, who think different, who can think outside of the way you can think and see something coming that you didn't see coming. So
you just said you have fans.
It's true.
That hit home, because again, like the people in their circle, they should let you know, hey, I thought your goal was this. Why are you doing what you're doing? You know, I thought this is, and then are they willing to help you, or they, like you said, are they fans and just, you know, they stand by or they stay further away, just watching you?
Yep.
And to be honest, in my opinion, in my absolute,
good, we're getting there.
That's not a true friend.
It's not a true friend. If your friend can't look at you and tell you you're wrong, I love you, but you're wrong, then they're not your friend.
Wow.
And it's okay.
No, because look, truth hurts, right? Nobody in my experience, communication is very difficult.
It is.
You know, being vulnerable to tell your friend, like, hey, you know, I'm doing this. Why don't you support? You see all the time on social media, right?
Yeah.
The people who support you, the people who are strangers, they don't even know who you are.
That is so true.
Right? And then the people who are closest to you, they just want to be honest, some of them probably just want you to fail.
Yep. So they can talk about you.
They can talk about you, but it validates them for not doing something that you were willing to do.
That's true. And that's why you have to, and that's why it's so important for, you know, and I, excuse me, I know a lot of times we talk about, you know, fake friends and whatever. In all of that evaluating, you have to evaluate yourself that you're not that type of person too. Right? Because we like to talk about, oh, you know, you fake. Well, are you being fake to somebody else? Because if you have a friend, hypocrites, right? If you have a friend and you see them, you know, they're doing something and all you want to do is tearing them down, you're being that fake person. And how you gonna have real people around you when you're fake? That is so true.
I mean, and one thing you said about marriage too, right? The importance of sharing that same goal.
Yeah.
You know, because look, it's very difficult if one person has such a big goal and the other person has their own goal. You guys end up clashing because you guys are not aligned, right? So it's having that conversation with your partner that's in your life that says, hey, look, you know, here's my goal. What's your goal? How can I help you? How can you help me?
Exactly.
How can we help each other?
That's true, because just like, you know, I don't know who said it, but we're always growing. Like, you know, I've heard the conversation, oh, you know, you're not the person I married 20 years ago. If I was, that would be a problem, because that means we didn't grow.
You didn't grow. You just stay the same. Yeah,
exactly. So like in relationships and business and everything that you think about, if you're not growing together, you're growing apart.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So, you know, there's a company I heard, there was a guy, he was coming out with, I watch random videos on YouTube all the time. Don't ask me why I watched this video, but I was watching this video about the guy there's this thing called Just Egg. I'll tell you about it later.
Just Egg.
Yeah. So it's this thing called Just Egg. It's it's made from mung beans. It's a vegan version of egg, right?
Okay.
So anyways, I was watching the documentary on it. Actually, let me be clear. So my husband likes to watch documentaries. That's how I end up watching documentaries. But so we were watching the documentary on Just Egg, and he was talking about his company, and he had a vision, right? And he was growing, and he said he got to the point where the company was doing great, but he wanted it to go to the next level, and he literally fired his entire board.
Wow.
And, you know, he said it was difficult. It was hard. And everybody was like, what's going on with the company? But he had to fire everyone, because when he sat down and looked at, you know, where he was trying to go and what they were trying to do, he recognized the people he currently had, they weren't going to get there.
Wow.
So he had to fire all of them.
He was a CEO?
He was the CEO.
Okay.
I think like CEO and kind of like he was maybe like the face or how, you know. I don't know how you do that, but yeah. So he had to fire everyone. And then he rehired another board, and then it became a bigger thing. And, you know, they got more investors and whatnot. And, you know, they got more investors because it went from costing $9. It was like $10 a bottle to like $4 a bottle. So, you know, they got there.
Yeah.
They were able to bring the price down a lot because they got more investments or whatnot. But, you know, when I think about just like even a company like that, they had to fire everyone. Can you imagine having to do that? Honestly,
it depends, right? I mean, I can only envision what he was going through when he sat down, and he's probably talking about, hey, here's where we're going to be moving the next 5, 10, 15 years, and got no reaction. I mean, that's the thing too, right? Like when you talk to your friends about your goals, how do they react? Most of them are like, okay, Evita. Right? They see, the thing is like when you talk about things that is more powerful than even yourself, that's bigger than yourself, right? The first thing that comes to mind is like, you want to do that? You know what I mean? It's doubt, right? It is doubt. They put doubt in your mind. It's funny. I have a conversation with my dad about some investment properties that I'm doing, and he's like, Harry, you know, what if people don't pay? What if people, you know, rental properties? What if they don't pay? What, no, it's true. You know, you're gonna lose a lot of money. Like, what about the success though? Yes, and right? What if I succeed? It's true, and you know, risk management. Risk management. Actually, I feel like, although some people think, I'm laughing because I have so many stories of risk management. I feel like, especially when you're from, let me just say families, right? I feel like our parents often think they have to be the risk management leader. Yeah. But it's important to take risk. Like, it's a risk getting up in the morning. I said the same thing to somebody else. Every day I wake up driving to work. For those of you who work at home, I'm jealous. Yes. Every time I wake up driving home, I'm like, yo, I'm dodging these cars just to get to the job. Like, that's the risk. I agree. So, but they don't, you know, they don't think that's a risk. But it's true. It's a risk. So it's just like, you know, risk, we have to take calculated risk. Right. No, right. And it's important. And when you said risk, you know, what comes to mind to me is like investments, right? You know, a lot of times, and you always have those people that will always want to doubt and come up with something. And the truth is, a lot of times they have reasons for that, right? But if you do it the right way, sometimes you might lose. Like, I've lost a lot of money in investments. Well, somebody that I follow, you know, you don't lose money. You gain experience. You gain experience, right? Yes, I agree. I've gained a lot of experience. I mean, because look, people who invest in school, the hundreds and thousands of dollars. Exactly. That's and then when you graduate, your job is not guaranteed. Exactly. You gain that experience. You learn something. True. You learn not to go back to school ever again. No, well, true. Or sometimes you learn, you know, I the truth is, I feel like going to school, you learn how to learn. There you go. I think that's, at least for me, for all the years that I went to school, I feel like what I learned is how to learn. So I don't feel like I ever have to go back to school again. I hope everybody's hearing that. Well, I mean, you know, lucky for us and the next generation, for sure, like AI, technology, you know, when I think about how technology has been transcending everything, the number one person I'm like, who's responsible for all this, right? Like, who really cast a stone? And I think of Steve Jobs. Yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting. But, you know, I was watching another documentary. About Steve Jobs, right? And it's like, it really just goes with everything that we're saying. Did Steve Jobs, was he the one that invented all this stuff? Nope. No, but he was able to bring things together. His team was fire. Exactly. So, you know, he had the vision, and his team believed in what the vision was. Yeah. You know, when he introduced that iPhone, I forget what year. I know I was definitely in high school. That's how old I am. But when he introduced the iPhone, that broke everything in terms of the information age, right? Because back in the day, to trade a stock, you had to make a phone call to the broker. Broker talks to whoever, comes back to you. It takes about like an hour just to make a trade. Now you have teenagers making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. Like, it's incredible where we're going. Now we have AI, which is kind of scary, actually, if you think about it. Yeah. Give me iRobot vibes. You know, AI is taking a lot of jobs. You know, what does that mean for us, right? Like,
Well, I think it's important for us to look ahead too and think about it. Like, all right, robots can do a lot, but they can't do everything.
True.
So how do you position yourself? And this is even for those, parents and children who are looking ahead. How do you position yourself in a place where, okay, like a robot won't take my job?
Right.
Because, the other day, like I was at CVS. CVS has self-checkout.
Yo, I've been noticing that too. Like Costco, BJ's, Pap, all these people now have self-checkout.
I'm like,
and there's like one employee who like oversees everything versus the 13, 14 people that used to be there.
Yeah. So it's very important. For right now, one of the things that AI hasn't really been able to master so far is trucking.
Trucking,
yeah.
What do you mean?
As in, they don't have the self-driving trucks as yet. So that's one of the things.
You hearing this? Because last time I checked, I had something in stores.
But it's not, they haven't gotten it through yet. That's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying, as people think ahead and look ahead of like, investments in those things and, shipping is a huge thing, right? I love my Amazon, my 2-day shipping.
Yeah. Shout out to Prime members. No, but like you said before, right? Like diversification.
Yes.
So we all know this is coming. AI is coming. It will take a lot of jobs.
It is.
So now is the time to invest, right? Mm-hmm. But like you said earlier, risk management, understanding that. Because recently we all heard about what happened to Silicon Valley Bank, right? For those of you guys who are not too aware, there was a recent collapse of one of the top banks in the United States. Mm-hmm. And basically what happened is, you know how a bank operates?
They take your money, they invest it and give you nothing.
Right. Well, they give you that 0.00002%. But yeah, that's essentially what happens, right? Yeah. They take your money. So back in the COVID times, when things were all in disarray, these tech companies were making a lot of money. Yeah. They raised a lot of capital and they put it into banks like SVB. Mm-hmm. So as SVB takes that money and puts it into what we call bonds. A bond is basically like an investment loan from the people. Mm-hmm. So there's like corporate bonds, there's government bonds, right? Mm-hmm. So basically it's like, hey, Evita, I'm gonna give you this bond. I'm gonna issue a bond. It's for $1,000. I'm gonna pay you 5% for let's say 10 years. Okay. So for the next 10 years, I'm giving you $50, right? After 10 years is up, you get your principal of $1,000 and you already made $500,000. I mean, $500, right? Sounds good. It's a win-win. But what happens when I can't pay you your $1,000 back? That's called default, right? Yeah. So what happened is when interest rates are getting increased, these tech companies are like, hey, we need to get a lot of money to cover all these costs. Yep. So they're taking the money out from the bank. Now the bank only holds about 10% of all the money that comes in. So that's like the reserve. So when you put your money into a bank, yes, you can take it out, but the goal for bank is not for everybody to take it out
all at once.
Right. So what was happening was when these companies were trying to cover the cost because the interest rates were going high, that left the banks with a deficit. And then one thing to also keep in mind, when interest rates are high, the bonds that they issue start to lower. Yeah. So the money that they raise, they put into the bonds. Interest rates get increased. You have people pulling money out. So it's like, think of a tank that's leaking water. You have to now find $2 billion worth of water to put in the tank so you can keep that balance. Once word got out, thanks to social media,
that the bank was struggling.
Everybody was like, yo, it's time to pull out.
Yeah.
They pulled out, I think it was about $45 billion that they had to pull out. So that led to a trickle effect of the collapse, right? So to your point, diversify. First of all, understand what you're investing in.
There's a huge difference. Well, for some people, just to interject, there's a difference between investing and gambling. Right. When you're investing, you know what you're doing.
Right. Tamar Capital.
The commercial right there. That's like when I'm watching a movie and the commercial comes in. It's just like, bam, wait for it. Oh, YouTube. I had to. Yeah, I love it though. It's how YouTube works though. It comes in, bam, then you wait for the 5 seconds for you to hit skip. Right. But yeah. So what was I saying? investing versus gambling, right? You know, gambling. And I think what happens is a lot of people, you know, we're not patient. We want to jump up. Like, you know, I like investing in real estate. I think it's, you know, fairly stable. But whether, you know, it's real estate or anything else, you jump into it and, you know, you go, oh, you know, you watch a YouTube video like this one. Yeah. And then you run and you want to go start do it. But you didn't take your time to educate yourself. So then you end up just gambling your money away, right? Facts. You know, we're talking about books. One of my all-time favorite books is The One Thing by, what's his name? Keller. Something Keller. Awesome book. And it was really talking about focusing. And
what's the book called again?
The One Thing.
The One Thing.
The One Thing. And I really like it because it says, you know, the line is, I hope I get it right, but it's the one thing in by doing so, it's doing the one thing, and in by doing so, you don't have to do anything else. Okay. We'll insert it somewhere. Right. Yeah. We'll insert it somewhere. But it's I know it has something to do with when you find this one thing, when you do this one thing, you might not have to end up doing some of the other stuff that you thought you needed to do, right? And the reason for that is, I'm sure you've heard of the 20-80%, where 20% of people do 80% of the work.
That's what I do now at my job.
That's true. I totally understand that. But so the thought is like 20% of the things that we do has 80% of the effect. Wow. And if you're doing, you know, a lot of times we're busy doing nothing or busy getting nothing done because we're doing, you know, something that's not in the 20%. Whereas if you actually sit down, get that 20% done, sometimes you don't even need to get the 80%. Right. Outsource that.
No, that makes sense. No, that makes sense, right? Yeah. Like you said, master that one thing, because look, I'm just now getting into the real estate game, and thank God for my business partner. Like, he's been walking me through everything. Shout out to Fin Free Properties. But yeah, the process to me, it seemed easy, right? Oh, you have money, there's a house. But then when it's like you go through that process and you go through maybe the renovation process, and you know, like the town has to approve certain things, and the town is not going to be on your time frame, right? They go at their pace, and that could be very costly. So understanding that process, you know, now it's like, wow, okay, I went through it. Now I can share it and help somebody else, because for the average person, they don't know. You know, they don't know about simple things like property tax. You know, what makes what makes a room, right? You need to have a closet to make a room. All these little things, right? So it's like taking your time to really study that before you jump in. Don't gamble, right? This isn't March Madness when you're gambling on FDU beating the number one team in the country, right?
Yeah, so that's true. And
shout out to FDU.
I love your shout out.
Yo, FDU Jersey team in March Madness. Anybody watches that? Anyways,
no,
what?
Sorry. I'm just
saying, but
I need to get to these shout outs, because like, oh gosh, so the last time I was here, I'm not good at these shout outs, and everybody's like, I was waiting on my shout out, and I'm like, all right, so shout out to everyone who I was supposed to shout out to. You know who you are, you just got to shout out.
Facts.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, look, so I mean, what did we learn today, guys? Like, it's very important to have a team.
Yes.
Right? Because at the end of the day, a team's going to take you as far as you envision yourself.
Yeah, probably even further.
You can do everything by yourself. You know, that's something that you think that you can do, sure, but you want to do it faster, you want to do it correctly, get a team. There's a guy that I follow on social media, and he talks about investments all the time. And he has helped so many people invest.
Go ahead and just give him a shout out.
Aristotle Investments. But yeah, like he's a person that did it his way, got a team, and they've been sharing the information to others. And it's like, now you understand why he's exceeding, you know, at that level. It's because his team is so strong. The marketing is great. You know, they really manage risks properly. So look, again, you know, when you're going to enter investments, just do your homework. You know, don't try to do everything yourself. Ask questions, you know, and find somebody that's actually been there and done that. Yep.
Mentors. It's so important to have mentors.
Facts.
And you have to be able to find someone. And the truth is, if you can't find a mentor, I think you need to check yourself, because there might be something going on.
Well, like, again, people don't like to hear the truth.
Yeah. So I think that's a point, right? So if you really do truly want to grow, and you're recognizing like you really can't find anyone, You might have to look at yourself because maybe you're just not teachable.
I mean, how do you? So my thing is this: like, how do you find a mentor? You know?
I think you have to start out with knowing what your goal is, and then finding someone who's either doing that or is, at least willing to encourage you.
Because I think the mindset is like, I don't want to bother you. I know you're very successful. I don't want to bother you with me trying to be on your level. So people are very scared to find mentors that way.
Well, okay, I understand. I can hear that, but I think we also have to understand that you want a mentor who's somebody who's going to be willing to give you their time, right? And the truth is, don't waste their time either. Time is something that we don't ever get back. No one has been able, not even, back. I remember when the Back to the Future year passed. We still haven't figured that out. We still haven't figured that out yet. So time is something you don't ever get back. So when you do, find someone who is willing to spend time with you, don't waste their time.
Right. So importance of that, like you just said, time is very important, right? Yeah. So let's get rid of Black people time, please. Like, can we be on time once? Like, is that something that we can get rid of? What's your thoughts on that?
Shots being fired.
No, I'm serious. Like, isn't time so important that you gotta get?
It is.
All right, so people, please let's get rid of. We just went through Black History Month, the shortest month of the year. All right, so let's say it now. By the end of this year, we're gonna fix Black people time. We're gonna be on time because time is so precious to everybody.
I hear shots being fired towards me, but it's okay.
No, it's all love shots, guys. Evita Lawrence is a figure in this show, and she's absolutely killing it. And we like to have fun here. Yo, you heard about what was it about Thames? Like, what was going on with Thames?
So I heard about this, right?
Yeah.
Now, before I didn't know who Thames was, but I had to go Google and search her up. Now I saw the dress, beautiful.
Yeah, what was it about this dress thing? Yeah.
Her dress was absolutely beautiful. Okay. Now, at first I was like, it's all white, but everybody, apparently they have themes for the Oscars. I don't know, but they were all in white. Now, I'm just gonna say, the backlash that she's getting, I don't think she deserves. She looked beautiful in the dress.
But what was the controversy?
So the controversy was her dress. It was kind of like swooped around it. So it was like it had a big top and like
it was a white dress too.
It was a big white dress.
So a wedding dress.
Kinda, but their theme was white. Like people were like, "Oh, she thought she's coming to get married." Their theme was white. Most of the other, not all, but a lot of the other women there, they were wearing white too.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't their theme. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. If it wasn't a theme, a white theme, but a lot of people were wearing white dresses, and her dress was absolutely beautiful. The girl came to show out and show up, and for people to remember her name. So
because I know she was nominated for something, right?
I don't know. I don't really watch the Oscars.
Yeah, me either. I don't watch the Oscars.
So I'm just going to say Oscars. The only reason I even know about this is because of Thames or Thames or Teams or whatever, however you say her name.
I don't know. Thames? Yeah.
Thames. But it was beautiful. Her dress was beautiful.
But she was covering somebody? Is that
She was blocking the people behind her. So there's this iconic picture of this guy's head like this. You're trying to see the front. I'm just like, just move. Ask to be moved. Her dress was beautiful.
I mean, honestly, now I get it. I get it now. Because what if it was that person's first time at the Oscars?
We go through different things in life.
Damn, life is unfair, man.
We go through different things in life. She came to make a statement. She made a statement. It's just unfortunate because people wear these things all the time. They look elaborate, look crazy all the time. The girl looked good. She looked really good.
When I get my Oscar invitation, I'm gonna wear like a robot suit. Then I'm gonna stand out, show out.
She stood out. And I thought it was a beautiful dress. I don't know who the designer was, but it was really, really nice. I've never seen anything like it, and I think she deserved. They were talking about best dressed. I think she should have been in best dressed.
Win? She didn't even win.
Well, no, after the Oscars, these news people talk about who was the best dressed, and I saw one with some news people, and they didn't name her, and I'm like, her dress was beautiful.
Yeah, she wore a wedding dress.
It was still a really nice wedding dress.
Okay.
It was nice. She looked nice.
Shout out to the wedding dresses out there.
Yeah. Shout out to, and I think, somebody's looking for a wedding dress. It was stunning, right? There's no way you could have not seen her. that was her goal. She accomplished her goal, and just like we've been talking about, she aimed high and she
aimed high. That's for sure. Yeah, so high it blocked the guy behind her.
She blocked it. Listen, sometimes you just have to stand out, and she was standing out.
Shout out to Thames. Keep doing your thing. We appreciate you. Exactly. Team Africa.
Exactly. Yeah, she was so beautiful. Oh man, I encourage her, you know. But
to circle back, like we talked about, it is important to have a team.
Yeah.
It's important to make sure that you know what your goals are, and don't beat yourself up if you haven't reached your goals. Your goal is your potential.
Yep.
Your goal does not need to be reached if it's such a big goal, but you will accomplish a lot of things during that path, that journey. And don't be afraid to ask for help, because look, even Jesus Christ, for those of you guys who are religious, had a team with him, right? Mm-hmm. And even though he has a couple of bad apples, the rest of the members continue that mindset, that goal, that word. So again, focus on your team. Now, facts, I have to go biblical. Focus on your team, and you will have what you deserve. All right. So we are SocialPath, and again, we appreciate you all for the subscribers. We see that we're growing. We see your comments. So if you have a topic for us that you want to discuss, please type that in, and we will watch it and read it. Please keep it positive. We are a family show so far, right? So I am Harry Obama J.
I'm Evita Lawrence,
and we are looking forward to the next episode. We will have some big things in store. We're going to talk to music artists. We're going to talk to big things.
Big things.
Big things.
Like past or goals, big things.
Past our goals that we can't even believe that we put on the goal list, but we will achieve it somehow.
There we go.
So we have some artists coming. We have some people that's going to be teaching you more financial stuff. So stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care, everybody. Yeah, cool. That's all, folks.
That sounds like Daffy Duck. Is that Daffy Duck?
That's all,
folks. That's all, folks.
Bleed.
Yeah, that's it. I think we're done.
I'm pretty sure we are.
Awesome.
All right. Fun time.
Yeah.
What are you running? What?